morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, June 10th, 2014. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5. I'm Dan Rubin. Today, we're going to spend the bulk of your Morning 5 talking to Steve Wiltfong, National Recruiting Director for 24/7 Sports, on the developments with Ohio State recruiting over the last few days. Steve always brings a unique and informed perspective to the table, and we're happy to have him here. We'll also take a look at what's coming up on the site today and why now is the right time to join Bucknuts.
As promised, Steve joins us bright and early on this rainy Midwest Tuesday morning. Steve, thanks for joining us. We're talking running backs. We're talking L.J. Scott, Larry Scott out of Hubbard, class of 2015. Yesterday, there was some fury is probably a poor choice of word. There was some hubbub when you flipped your crystal ball for Larry Scott to Ohio State. What made you do that?
Well, it's been something I've been thinking about since he visited, on his last visit, talking to quarterback commit Joe Burrow. He thought LJ had a fantastic time, talking to some sources around the Ohio State program. They think they're in it now. Things have really developed with LJ. He was always been an outstanding back, the number 7 running back in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports composite ratings, number 3 player in Ohio. Always been an outstanding player, but not a player that Ohio State could recruit right out of the gate. But, as LJ continues to take care of things off the field, he's now a take for Ohio State. And with that, Ohio State has ramped up the recruiting intensity for LJ Scott. Michigan State's still very much a player. This one could go either way, but right now my gut tells me that I like where Ohio State stands.
Okay, so you have 2 players crystal balled in the class of 2015, 2 running backs. It's L.J. Scott and Damian Harris, the number 1 running back in the country out of Kentucky. But we were talking a little bit off the air. You think there's a chance they could have 3 running backs in the class?
No, I think that they're in on 3 running backs.
Okay.
L.J. Scott, Damian Harris, and then Michael Weber. They're in the top 2 for Michael Weber. I know Michael Weber told myself and Bill Kierlich at the Ohio Nike football training camp that Ohio State was his leader. But when it's all said and done, I still think he's going to have a difficult time not choosing Michigan State, with the family ties that they have to that football program, his dad being great friends with some people over on the staff in East Lansing, and Michael being so close to Michigan State and having been there so many times. I think that when it gets down to crunch time, he could have a tough time saying no to Michigan State. I'm not saying he won't say no. I just want people to understand how hard it is to sometimes say no to a school. And I think that for Michael Weber, that could be a challenge. But Ohio State certainly has a chance to land all 3 of the backs we talked about. And, I think that the one I feel most confident right now about is 5-star Damian Harris, the number 1 running back in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports composite ratings.
Well, that's a good one to be confident about. So do you see this as Damian Harris and the first one who says yes to Ohio State?
Well, Urban Meyer gets paid a lot of money to figure that out. L.J. Scott's an August decision, so they should have an answer on that going into the fall. Michael Weber's going to announce at the U.S. Army All-America Bowl in January, and I would say around, I think Ohio State feels good about where they stand with Damian Harris right now. How could they not? I think everyone thinks they're the team to beat, but come January, they should really have an idea of, after Damian takes some officials and Michael Weber's ready to announce what they want to do at that position. They'll have played a full season themselves, so they'll know what their own roster will look like. So, that question will easily be able to be answered in January. Obviously, it'd be a tough one to answer right now.
Okay, but I guess here's my question. So if you see L.J. Scott committing in August to Ohio State, that would mean either Weber makes the call for Ohio State before then, or he's more likely to go to Michigan State. Fair to say?
Well, if Weber plans to decide in January, and I don't expect things to change, but you never know. Things could change with Damian, and things could change with Weber, and things could change with LJ. But I think that in a perfect world, they would want LJ Scott and Damian Harris, But, a guy like Michael Weber's a high-caliber back, too.
We appreciate Steve Wiltfong for joining us. We're trying to bring some clarity to the running back situation here on the Bucknuts Morning 5.
It's always a good thing when you have a lot of names to discuss when you're trying to find that clarity.
If you're not a premium member of Bucknuts, you're missing out. We have a great deal going now where you get the site free for at least a month when you join. Make sure to take advantage of that. Coming up on the site later today, we'll have more on the newest Buckeye, or one of the newer Buckeyes, Tyler Green from the weekend. Got some cool stuff in the boarding house. Going to have some information coming up on Draymond Jones in the boarding house. Alex Gleitman will check in later today with an update on Dexter Williams, the Miami running back commitment who visited Ohio State recently. And make sure to hang out in the front row all day, Bucknutters. We'll be here for you.